Welcome back to another episode where we don't got no makeup on, my edges ain't done, and we in our PJs. So let's get it, y'all. Let's get into it. Go ahead and make sure that you chill and comfortable. Go grab you a nice ice cold drink. And when I say drink, I mean like some juice or whatever. So yeah, let's get into it. Beautiful morning, you're the sun of my morning, babe. Nothing in the water. When I turn to beautiful morning, you're the sun of my morning, girl. To help my love. What's up, you guys? My name is Danae, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in and clicking on this video, y'all. We're gonna go ahead and get into it, okay? This video is gonna be 30 minutes. I promise you. We did good last time, so it gotta be at least, at most 30 minutes, okay? So today's episode is about social wealth, okay? So let me make sure I pull up the right one. If you didn't see episodes 1 through 3, you gotta go check it out, okay? Episode 1 is about spiritual wealth. Episode 2 is about soulful wealth. Episode 3 is about physical wealth. And now we on episode 4, which is social wealth, okay? And this whole podcast are for me to just take you guys on the journey that I'm on in order to create generational wealth. And we're just discussing the 7 spheres of wealth. And I did get this from Pastor Miles Monroe, who really taught kingdom, I would say kingdom building on earth while he was alive. So very powerful speaker, preacher, pastor, and really world changer. So I got this from him, and I was really interested in just breaking it down and just sharing with other people. So please make sure you go ahead and go check out the other episodes if you haven't. But yeah, let's get into it, okay? Y'all ready? You got your nice ice cold drink, something to eat on. You got your little snack, some popcorn or something. But this episode today is going to be a lot more chill than the other ones. I feel like the other ones were a little deeper, and they should have been, because it's about, spiritual wealth and soul wealth and then physical wealth. So now we're on social wealth, and I feel like social wealth is like just more fun and uplifting. But at the same time, I just do want to give y'all some gems and some things that helped me along the way. Not to say that I got it all together, because Lord knows I don't, and I would say that over and over again. But I do want to share some of my personal experience. So we're going to be coming from Proverbs 13 and 18 through 22, okay? Proverbs 13 and 18 through 22. And while I'm pulling that up, I'm about to tell y'all, if you're watching this video, you haven't subscribed. Honey, why you can't commit to this channel? Why can't you just subscribe, okay? Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And then please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. That will help me a lot. But I'm always here to just impact people's lives, no matter how many views or how many likes. But if you want to help your girl out, help me get monetized on YouTube, that would help me a lot. So thank you so much for clicking on this video again. Let's get into this word, okay? So again, it's Proverbs 13 and 18 through 22. And it says, whoever disregards discipline comes to poverty and shame, but whoever heeds correction is honored. A longing fulfilled is sweet to the soul, but fools detest turning from evil. Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. Trouble pursues the sinner, but the righteous are rewarded with good things. A good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children, but a sinner's wealth is stored up for the righteous. Okay? So that was kind of deep. I feel like I kind of probably tricked y'all a little bit when I said that it wouldn't be deep, but reading that scripture again, I realized that is deep though. So I just want to start off with the subject, or just come from the place of, you got to be careful of who you have in your circle, period. And that's a circle, okay? You got to be careful of who you have in your circle. And I feel like for a lot of times, young people, we don't really consider that important. We really don't. But I'm telling you, the people that's closest to you will either help you go forward, succeed, or will hold you back and make you decline and not grow. It's either one or the other. It's not no in between either, because being stagnant is not growing. And then whenever you're stagnant and you're not growing, if you're not growing, you're dying, okay? So that was a mouthful, but you have to understand and know that whoever is in your circle will determine whether you are going to succeed or whether you're going to decline and not grow. Okay? And we always want to be growing and learning. Always, 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 always. No matter how young or how not so young we are, we always want to be learning and growing. And so the first part is of the scripture in verse 18. Whoever disregards discipline comes to poverty and shame. Okay? So discipline, and that's why I say it's important to know who you have around your circle. If you have friends that are constantly lazy, not doing nothing with their life, always just out partying and stuff like that, and hear me when I say this very clearly, I do think there's a time and a place for that. And I feel like as young people, we have our moment in time, but God doesn't want us to do it in a way that displeases him. Okay? And I'm not speaking from a place that I haven't been there, done that, got the t-shirt. I'm telling you because I've been there, done that, and I indeed have a lot of t-shirts. Okay? So with that being said, I can speak from an experiential standpoint of knowing and understanding that a lot of times it's not worth it. Having fun at the expense of not pleasing God is not worth it. Okay? It always leads to sin, and it always leads to just not feeling fulfilled in life. And you're going to continuously run from your calling and run from whatever God's called you to do, and more so to be, if you can't just accept that. Okay? And I think that's harder for people who like are more, and I wouldn't say free spirited, but I would say kind of like careless. You cannot be careless. I don't care how young you are. You cannot be careless. I'm telling you, what you do now will impact your life forever. And once you start thinking like that, it's not in a way that like I'm just young and turned, like I'm just gonna let this be my young years and be turned. Okay, being young and turned gonna cause you to have consequences that you're gonna be living for when you're 40 and 50 years old, because you were young and turned at 20 and you didn't think about the future. So I encourage every person to understand and know how to have fun in a way that pleases God, to where you don't lose your personality, you don't lose yourself, because I have it and I had to find that balance in that way. But also make sure that you're not engaging in things that make you displease God. And the reason why I said and started off with it's important who you have in your circle, because who you have in your circle will really determine whether you're going to please God or displease him. There's no in between, because even if you lukewarm, that still displeases God. And so that's the key, and that's the kicker, and that's why I'm always just so passionate when I come on here, because I just want to encourage especially young people to just freely live for God. And when I say freely, I mean don't care what other people think about you or have to say about you, because you're choosing to do the right thing, because you're choosing to live for God. And there are right versus wrongs. Okay? Don't let nobody convince you or tell you that there aren't. And I'm telling you this because I've been convinced of that too. There is right versus wrong. And when you experience wrong and when you see the consequences of wrong, then you clearly know, hey, I gotta go right. This wrong path ain't leading me nowhere. It ain't getting me nowhere. So let me go right. And God is such a gracious and good God that he still leads us back to the path. And even if, and I read this post and I thought it was so interesting, even if the initial path that God wants you on is not the path that you choose to take, God still has another path in a way that will kind of connect you back to that path. And I'm speaking that from my heart, because I know for a fact that's been my life recently. Like, even if you thought you were supposed to go this way and you actually supposed to be over here, God will let there be a middle pathway to where you got to walk from here over there. But don't think that you can't get back over there. You can, and it's never too late. Okay? So I say that because I mean that, y'all. It's never ever too late to please God. It's never too late. So start now. Start today, okay? This is your sign to start today. So that is the first thing I want to start with. And why is it important to know who your circle is and be careful of who's in your circle? Here's why, okay? Because, again, whoever disregards discipline comes to poverty and shame. But whoever heeds correction is honored. Then the 20th verse says, walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. So do you want fools in your circle? Because you're going to suffer harm. If you don't want fools in your circle, Walk with the wise. Walk with people who are going to teach you some things, who are going to stretch you and grow you and learn you. And at my church, my bishop always says this, that there should always be somebody ahead of you, so a mentor, somebody that can guide you and lead you. There should be people that you walk alongside with, so your friends and people that help encourage you and you encourage them, and y'all are like accountability partners. And then some people that's always behind you, watching you, that you're inspired and pouring into. And I don't want to get too deep into that point because that will be the next episode, hint hint, about influential wealth. But those are your 3 social groups that you should have: somebody ahead of you, some people with you, and some people behind you. And with that, you're able to grow, learn, and share. Woo! That was good. That was good. Thank you, Holy Spirit. That was good, y'all. That's good, okay? God just gave me that. That's so good, okay? You're able to grow with the people, from the people that are ahead of you. You're able to learn with the people that are beside you. And you're able to share with the people that are behind you. So that's the importance of knowing who's in your circle. And so my question I want to ask you guys is, what is your social environment? What is it? So first we started with the who. So who's in your circle? Who? Now we ask the question, what? What is your social environment? And I paint this picture. So if your social environment is the club and always partying, you're going to reap the benefits of whatever that comes with. And a lot of times it's not good. If your social environment is, and I'm just using this as an example, take it or leave it. But if your social environment is always going to church or going to different conferences to learn and grow, or making sure that you're always working and focused on that rather than this other side, then you're going to reap the benefits of that. You're going to gain money and gain the living that you want to have. You're going to grow spiritually. You're going to learn. So whatever you choose is what you're going to reap the benefits of. And the Bible also says that a good tree bears good fruit. A bad tree bears bad fruit. There's no way for a good tree to bear bad fruit, and there's no way for a bad tree to bear good fruit. So you will know people by the fruit they bear. So what does that mean exactly? And this is so good. And if y'all would see my notes, I literally have like 5 things written down, but God always just pours into me as I continue to speak. And that's why I'm always saying thank you, Holy Spirit. And I hope that's understood by people on here. And when I say that, that's just acknowledging the Spirit of God for giving me that knowledge and for helping me just even be able to speak like this. So I don't take that credit on my own. So I hope that makes sense though. If it doesn't, comment down below. We can discuss it. But when I say that, you can easily tell who people are by the fruit they have. So what is fruit? Fruit is their words, their actions, their deeds. And that's like actions, but like what they do, who they are, the essence of who they are. What is their impact on people when people leave? What are people saying about them? And let me put a pin in that. I'm not talking about the people that going to hate and talk and be jealous or crazy. They always gonna have something to say. They always gonna feel some type of way. We're not worried about them. They push to the side, baby. Like, we don't worry about them at all, for real. We don't. I'm talking about those people who, you come into contact with, and they're how can I explain this? Like, I guess I'll paint the example. Are you talked about in a room when you're not even there? And then when I say talked about, I mean positive things and good things. And that can be the opposite though too. If you have a negative attitude or a nasty attitude and people are constantly coming into contact with you and they're like, don't work with her, don't work with him, they don't know how to act, or they too prideful, or they got a bad attitude, they don't know how to listen, they don't know how to take correction. That's what the Bible says too. Whoever takes correction won't experience poverty or shame, but they are honored. And so I paint that distinction because when you choose your friends and you choose the circle of people that you surround yourself with, all you have to do is look at how they act, how they talk, and what they do. Well, that's acting. I don't want to confuse you guys. I feel like I'm trying to paint this distinction between acting and doing, because you can easily watch somebody and see what their actions are, But I guess when I say what they do is how they make decisions. And I will change it to, instead of what they do, to how they think. That's more important. So what they say, what they do, and how they think. And the reason why I point that distinction between those last two of what they do and how they think, because a lot of times people say something different than what they do. And they think based off of what they do. Okay, let's rewind this thing, and let's go back, okay? So you will always know who should be your friends, who should not, and what people you should allow in your circle by what they say, what they do, and how they think. Okay? What they say and how they think sometimes do not align. And I don't know, like for my people in relationships, like you ever heard like somebody be like, and this is a common problem with a lot of people or a lot of relationships, like you're saying one thing but you're doing another. What they're doing is what they're thinking and how they feel. Don't worry about lip service, because a lot of people just talk. They just talking. If what they're saying is aligning up with what they're actually doing, then that's truthful. If they're saying something else and doing something else, then pay attention to what they do. Don't believe what they say. People will say anything to you. Believe what they do. And that's why I tell people all the time, don't ask me a question you don't want to know the answer to, first. And secondly, I can show you better than I can tell you. I don't have to talk about it. I'm going to just show you. And with both of those things, it's important to know that if this friend or this person that you're even wanting to be in your circle, and mind you guys, again, we're going back to the whole theme of it being about social wealth. If this person is constantly talking negatively, this person is constantly, and I will use school as an example, cursing out the teacher, always starting up mess, because I remember in high school, it was terrible. I would literally always remember, and I still to this day, if I see somebody that I remember from high school that used to be messy or always stirring up mess, always in a fight, like people remember that about that person from high school. And that's not even just a me thing. Like if you hear me talking about this example, I know you got some people that popped up in your mind right now from your high school, and if you're not in high school yet, middle school, where you know for a fact, like, oh, I remember, and not saying you hold something against somebody, but because they did certain things and said certain things and acted a certain way, that's what they were known for. Okay, follow me. Even in college, y'all know some people were known for some things, good, bad, or indifferent. They were known for it, okay? And so avoid those people that are known for doing things that are outside of the will of God. Avoid them. And when I say avoid, don't allow them to come in your close inner circle. Don't allow them your heart, your space, your time, and your energy. And that's why a lot of people always think I have so many friends. I'm cool with a lot of people. I'm cool with them. People love me, and I love people, though. That's just my heart and who I am. I love meeting new people. I love talking to people. But I have a select group of people that I really talk to, and an even smaller group of people that I share my heart with. And sometimes it's not even a group. It's just one person. And if it's just God at times, it's just God. And just me and God. But for me, that allows me first and foremost to not depend on man. And I would encourage every person to be like that, because our dependence has to be on God. Even when you're in a relationship, even when you're married, your dependence has to first be on God. Our dependence is not on them. But I do understand and know that when you are married, you do become one flesh with your husband or your wife for the men. And so understanding that and knowing that, I just want to set that strong foundation of first and foremost, my dependence is on God. I don't depend on my friends, my close friends, people I'm cool with, my parents, or anybody I'm in a relationship with, in order for me to have confidence, in order for me to know that I am worthy, in order for me to know who I am. Period. And the moment you put that confidence in somebody else is the moment you will die. And I mean not a physical death when I say that, and that may sound harsh, but I mean an internal death. That's the moment you lose yourself. And to lose yourself is to die internally. And you can still be very well alive. And I said this last episode, very well alive and still dead on the inside. And so that's my goal and my mission, to have that confidence in who God said I am and who God knows I am. And that confidence, that light, that attracts other people. that will attract a lot of people actually, and you have to discern which people you should let in and which people you shouldn't. And I say this example, like for the girls, it can be a lot of guys interested in you, a lot, but you have to discern this ain't for me, this is for me. I don't need to be distracted. I'll see what this is like. And if we going down this path and it ain't working, we gonna cut it. Because again, if it's not from God, we don't want it. I'm good on it. I promise you I'm good. And that's the confidence that I've gained in God. And because I'm so fine being with myself, and y'all, I tell y'all this to share a little bit of my heart, and that's why I'm on here too, to be transparent. But like, I'm literally like an extroverted introvert, and people always just see me as like this talker, like, and that's why I say I love meeting people. I love talking. That's just something I'm passionate about, and I know that's what God called me to do, to share. But I need my personal space, and I need to refuel and refill. If I don't, I promise you, I don't work right. I don't operate the same if I'm not able to have my alone time. And that's why I describe myself as an extroverted introvert, because I'm more so like 60% extroverted and 40% introverted. And a lot of people that love that 60% don't understand that 40%. And that's okay. It's not for everybody to understand. And that's what I mean by you have to put people, and not necessarily in categories, but you do have to know which people to let in closer, like I said before, socially. And let me put a pin in it here, so slow down. You have to know how to, I don't want to say put people in a box, but you do have to categorize people in your life. As I'm getting older, I'm learning that you got to. If you don't, these mixes, and it's going to be confusing in your brain, and you're not going to know where people should be placed in your life, and they're going to try to take over wherever they think they belong, and that ain't happening. Not over here, okay? So I encourage you to do the same thing and have that confidence in knowing and understanding who your closest friends are, who your friends are, who people you're cool with are, and people that are just associates and co-workers or whatever. You have to determine the difference. You got to. If you don't, you're going to go crazy, and people will try to hop in and out of different boxes. But once you already have them in a place, and once people show you who they are, believe them. Okay? Believe them the first time. All right? And that's not to say people won't make mistakes, and people won't we're all human, and there's grace for each and every one of us. I'm not perfect. I've made my mistakes. I have my imperfections, and I know I have areas that I need to grow in. But I'm very well aware that once people show me who they are, if it's a character flaw, then I know and understand that they're not trying to grow in that area, and it's becoming weighing on me. Your character flaw now is impacting me. And then when I say that, your character flaw is, I'm trying to put this in the best way possible. If character flaws start impacting your confidence, your ability to help or encourage your people you're walking with, then they got to be replaced in a different category. Okay, I'll just leave it at that, because I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, because that's getting closer to influence. Okay. And so with that being said, in summarization, place people in your life, and you don't even have to tell them. Just know mentally where they are in your life, so that you can flow more easily. And that's why I said there may be a lot of people interested in you. Even for guys, a lot of women may be interested in you. But you got to know, this ain't for me, this for me. She may look good, he may look good. They may smell good, they may look like they got it all together. But you have to know, and that's with having a deeper relationship and understanding with who God said you are, so that you can align your life with the people that God is allowing to help you and not harm you and hurt you. Because there are a lot of vultures, there are a lot of energy suckers, there are a lot of leeches. And we don't want none of them, okay? I'm telling you, none of them. And they come in all forms, shapes, and sizes. I'm telling you. And when I say that, I mean they come in the form of, I want to be in a relationship with you. I like you. I want to be your friend. What's going on? What's doing this? They come in different shapes, forms, and sizes, in different ages too. So we don't want that. And it just helps you stay focused, in a clear mind, in a tunnel vision for where God wants you to be. Okay? So that is the point that I want to drive today. That's the point that I'm making. In order to have social wealth and be very wealthy in that area of your life, because again, friends can either help you or hinder you. There's no in between. They ain't helping you, they hindering you. Period. Point blank. Okay? So this is me trying to figure out exactly where I started, because I know that was like a second tangent on where I was going. Here we go. Okay. See, that's why I put these notes down. So knowing what you need to refuel and refill yourself in order to be the best socially is so important. So that's going back to my personal transparency example, what I was saying, that I need my alone time. I need it. I didn't know that about myself until like I got to college. And I'm like, oh no, my social battery is dead and I can't get nothing else out of me. Y'all can't get nothing else out of me. Like, I'm tired. I'm done. And that's what I mean by like being extroverted, introvert, because I don't have to always be talking either. I don't like to always talk. It's actually tiring, okay? Being a talker is tiring because you always talking and it's just like it's important and it makes sense, but sometimes I just feel like I don't feel like talking, and that's just it. I just don't be feeling like talking. So know what you need to refuel and reset and refill yourself in order for you to be the best socially. And going back to the point where I said, when you're confident in who God said you are and who God knows you are, which is beautifully, fearfully, and wonderfully made, and then you have that more specific assignment and purpose for your life. And that's why I enjoyed teaching at my church, and I always shout out my church, y'all, New Hope Cathedral, with the youth. But one Wednesday we did these papers where it was our life purpose statement. And give me a second, let me show y'all. Okay, I found it. So it was this, right? So we printed these out. And shout out to the book Purpose Driven Life. If y'all never read that, you got to. I'm telling you, no matter how young or old. It's on Amazon and it's called Purpose Driven Life. Such a life-changing book. Life-changing. So this is my life purpose statement. So my purpose is to serve God by empowering his people, especially young people, passionately by being authentic, transparent, and humble. Okay? So that's my life purpose statement, and I encourage you guys to make this too. And the reason why, because once you have a life purpose, there, like I said before, there'll be a lot of people attracted to you. You have to discern. Don't get so overwhelmed by the bad that you don't see the good in who God's put in your life. As you know your purpose. Purpose attracts other people, other opportunities, new doors, new levels, and also new devils. But we're not going to focus on the bad part. I want to drive this point of you'll be connected with the right people naturally. You will. That's what I mean. You have to just discern which people are right and which people are wrong. And how do you discern that? You know your purpose. You'll be able to see, does this align with my purpose? Does this align where God wants me to go? Does this align where I am right now in my life? If it doesn't, that ain't a part of who that needs to be a part of your journey. If it does, then come along. Let's see how this works. Let's try. And sometimes I think it's harder for us to let people go to. And when I say let people go, I mean in the most like genuine, kind way of knowing and understanding that sometimes once that purpose or that season for certain people is fulfilled in your life, it's time to move on. Don't keep holding on to them if they're holding you back from pursuing that purpose. Because once you come into alignment with your purpose, there'll be a lot of friends and people that fall off, relationships that end, and a lot of different things that will happen because you now have a clearer vision of where you're supposed to go in your life. And that doesn't matter how young you are. And that's why I always say that I don't want any young person watching this to be like, oh, I'm just too young for that and I'm not going to do it. No, please start now. Once you have the earlier you have the vision and you know and understand your purpose, the earlier you can start discerning who needs to be around you and who doesn't. And that is what gives you social wealth. Your ability to discern exactly which category people fall in, if any, because some people don't need to be in no category. If it's just a hey and bye, small talk, then that's what it got to be. But you have to know and understand, and the only way you know and understand is depending on God. Praying to God and asking God, should I pursue this person? Should this person be in my life? Should they be my friend? should I be in a relationship with this man, or should I be in a relationship with this boy, or should I be in a relationship with this girl or this woman? Should I? And a lot of times we have those mistakes and hiccups because we never ask God for his thoughts first. And God's just like, hey, you never asked me. And now you're suffering from heartache and different pain and different things God never intended us to go through because we never asked him. And when you ask him, and that's why I tell people all the time, do not ask me a question you don't want to know the answer to. And God is the same way. Don't ask him a question you don't want to know the answer to. And that's why people don't ask, because a lot of times people are scared that if you ask, you're going to hear a no. But I encourage you to ask anyways and allow God's answer to be whatever his will is, whether that's a yes or a no. Allow his will to be done. That's what matters, y'all. And I say that, and I'm going back to like the situation with the Chick-fil-A opportunity I had. Like hearing that no from them, once I got to the final stage, and I don't know if I shared this with y'all, but I worked at the location, like the fast food location, then I had an opportunity to expand corporately. But I got to the last leg, and hearing that no, like that crushed me. It did. And I'm like, God, I thought I was praying to you. I was believing you for this, Lord. And I thought this was supposed to happen. And God's just like, I took you through this process, but I needed you to trust me that even if you had a no, that somebody else still has your yes. And I'm just like, but Lord, why would you let me get to the last leg and then they told me no on the last interview? Are you kidding me? Like, why? But some things you do have to go through. And then I would argue some things, if you asked at the beginning, then you would already know. And I kind of had a feeling already. Like, it was almost like, and not in a bad way, I was doubting myself, but I was almost like so shocked how I kept getting pushed along. I'm like, this is weird. And if I already felt like I was going to hear a no, then I should have known in a certain way that that's not the path God wanted me to take. And I can't wait to share with y'all the path that I'm on now. Just letting it all simmer in and letting me go through it first to make sure that I'm good in it before I share. That's just how I am. That's the introvert part of me. I don't like sharing every single thing in every single part of my life because I like to process it first with just me and God. And that's my thing that I do in order to ensure me and God locked in for life, okay? We for lifers, for real, okay? So I'll say that example and I'll leave you guys with that. And I guess these last 2 points that I need to hurry up and close with, so we can meet our 30-minute mark, is to make sure even when you want to have social wealth that you're pleasing God and not people. And that's why I constantly keep saying having confidence in who God says you are. I will always drive that point, and I will always say that. And I was listening yesterday at a video Miles Monroe had taught about the discipline of vision. And he said something that really was very, very important and I thought very interesting. He said that being humble is simply knowing who you are. And I'm like, wow. Like, I never heard it like that. I never seen that, because some people think being humble is just holding your head down and thinking of yourself less. And that is a lie. A lie from the pits of hell. Like, a lie from the devil. Lord knows that it's not humbleness, holding your head down and thinking less of yourself. Humbleness is simply being who you are. And he said whenever you're not operating in who you are, it's the moment you become prideful, or you take or you get a big head and you take this credit for something that you are not able to do by yourself, but because you're doing it outside of what you're actually called to do, that's the only time you get a big head for it. And I'm like, wow, like, and it makes so much sense because, like, and I just say just personally, like, people would like to assume that I'm prideful and would like to assume that I'm arrogant or cocky, and I'm like, y'all don't know me for real. And if you consider confidence pridefulness, arrogance, or cockiness, I don't know what to tell you. I can't help you with that, because if you don't know the difference between the two, I don't know. I really just don't know what to tell you. And more so what that tells me is that you're insecure in who you are and you're not confident in who you are. And that pisses people off. I know it does. But I know that God's called me to be confident and to teach other people, especially younger people, that you don't have to hold your head down. And that doesn't mean that you have to be the loudest in the room. But when you walk in the room, there is a difference. There is a light that shines on the inside of you. There's a brightness about you. There is a difference without you having to say a word. And some people are not going to like that. And I'm okay with that. And that's something that I'm learning now in my life, to not care about that. And that's the importance of pleasing God and not people. But the point I make with that is, if humbleness is just simply being yourself, then he described it like this: like a bird that flies in the air, like nobody celebrates a bird for flying. The bird is just like, this is just what I do. A fish that swims in the water, nobody celebrates a fish for swimming. This is just what they do. And so whatever you're called to do, people will celebrate you for it, and people will be like, I'm so proud of you. I'm so, like, this is so amazing. This is so great. And like a lot of times, like, that gets done to me, and I'm like, thank you, but like, I'm just happy that God graces me in that way for it to look so amazing to other people. But me on the inside, I'm just like, thank you, but like, this is who I am. This is who God called me to be, and I'm just flowing and operating in that. And I share that because I want every person to feel like that. I don't want to be the only person feeling that and having that confidence to know that when I'm doing what God called me to do, I don't think I'm better than nobody else. I don't have a big head, and I'm not cocky or arrogant or prideful. I'm simply just doing what God called me to do. And if that confidence makes some people uncomfortable, then let it. It's okay. May my confidence make you more confident. And if it makes you uncomfortable at first, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? And so that's something that I've been like working on the inside of me, and just allowing that to be my purpose driven, life statement, a part of it, to just influence other people to please God. And guess what? When you please God, and this is why it's so important to what you focus on. When you please God, the right people will also be pleased. But if you focus on pleasing people, then that's not necessarily always pleasing God. Okay? So I'm going to just leave y'all with that. And then I don't know. Gotta stop saying I don't know. I'm just so happy, and I hope y'all can feel my passion and like the brightness and the passion. I said passion twice, but the joy that I have when I talk about these things, because I know and understand that God's called me to do that. And whenever you have a clear vision, clear understanding of what God called you to do, you will have the same passion and the same excitement. And I shout out my girl Jazz too, because she did such a great job. Love you so much, Jazz. I know y'all gonna be watching. She did such a great job at our church for the youth mini sermon, and talking about confidence and talking about who God called her to be. That's what every believer should have. Believers and people that believe in God are not broke people. And I'm saying this in a way where, like, we shouldn't be broke people. We shouldn't be people hanging our heads down. We shouldn't be people that don't dress nice or put ourselves together. We shouldn't. Because who wants to be a part of that if somebody don't, like, sound excited, or, there's no excitement about it? Who wants to be a part of that? And so that's why I'm constantly just being passionate, and I just can't help it, honestly. Just allowing my voice to be heard in that space to whoever is willing to come along, listen, click on this video, and watch. Period. And doing what God called me to do in order to allow everyone to know that you should be confident in who God said you are. And when you're celebrated for it, thank you. I just give God glory all the time, though, because I just know that it's who God said I am. And it's not a big to-do to me and for me. And I know this is just the beginning. So I encourage you all with that to have that same passion and that same joy. And please be proud of me, because this video is coming out earlier, and I know it is. So go ahead and share this video with your friends, your mama, your daddy, your uncle, your grandmama, your cousin, your sister, your brother, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, fiance, your wife, whoever, to make sure they check out my videos. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and clicking on it. I truly appreciate you all so much. As I always say, and y'all can start saying it with me, if you're rocking with me, thank you, because this is going to be an exciting journey. So please stay tuned. See y'all in the next video, episode 5. And if y'all been rocking with me for real, and y'all been watching every video, shout out to y'all for these episodes, okay? These 7 weeks of talking about wealth. Go ahead and comment down below and let me know that y'all been rocking with me, okay? Y'all talk to me. Y'all be scared to talk to me? Y'all scared to talk to me? Go ahead, okay? Comment down below and just let me know, please, because I love to talk to people and just encourage y'all, okay? And it encourages me as well to keep on going. So, with that being said, see y'all in episode 5 for influential wealth, okay? Bye.